your polysaccharides, the fungi, no, making it rigid and acts as a barrier to drug penetration. The cell membrane contains ergosterol, which influences the efficacy and the risk of drug resistance. But there is specific fungal, which is your Cryptococcus neoformans, which is capsulated. No, it is aside from its cell wall and its cell membrane, no, it has its capsule, which enhances its resistance, no, to various environments, especially those uh, antimicrobial agents. The cell membrane contains again ergosterol, and most antifungal agents are fungostatic, with infection clearance largely dependent on the host response. So it depends on the immune system of the patient or host parent. But again, most, all of you, or if not most, majority of your fungal infection usually are self-limiting, meaning if an individual is healthy enough to fight this fungal infection, usually it can be relieved, you can have resistance against this one, except for those patients that are immunocompromised. No, fungal infections are very, very, very prominent and are uh, very, very, uh, or it puts the patient, no, at high risk of being susceptible to different uh, comorbidities and co-infection. So again, you have your fungal cell wall. Again, you have your monoproteins at the outermost part. You have your polysaccharide or your carbohydrates, your 1,6 and 1,3, and also glucosamine or your glucans. You have your chitin in between. You have your phospholipid bilayer, so that not all foreign substances can go in and out of the fungal cell. Then you have your ergosterol, no, inside before it goes into your DNA and RNA body of the fungal cell. So again, fungi may be classified as your yeast and mold. You already know that. You have your fungal that are yeast informed. You have your fungus that are mold informed. Your uh, you have your systemic fungus, no, that can be either of the two, no, in regards to different temperature where they are confined for their growth. Clinically classified as your superficial mycosis, you have your deep, you have your systemic, you have your dermatophytes, you have your subcutaneous mycosis, you have your systemic, and you have your opportunistics. So again, as we discussed during the prelim, no, you have your yeast and mold form, you have your dimorphic fungi, you have your cryptococcus as now regards one of your opportunistic mycosis, you have your aspergillosis, you have your mucormycosis, your phycomycotes or your zygomycotes, and you have your dermatophytes. Fungal infection in humans, again, it's mycosis. You have your superficial, cutaneous, subcutaneous, systemic, opportunistic. Each of them we already tackled. Symptoms vary from cosmetic to life-threatening infection, and it varies now from patient to patient or from host to host. So types of fungal infection, we have your mucocutaneous dermatophytes, cause your skin infection. So you have your tinea, your trichosporum, your epidermophyton, and your Lycosporon, epidermophyton, and your Megasporon species for your dermatophytes. We already discussed about your yeast infection, moist skin and mucous membrane. You have your Candida albicans. It can also have your aspergillosis, no, as one of your systemic infection. You have your cryptococconiosis and your phycomycetes. Can also have your systemic mycosis, those fungi that are, or those fungi or class of fungi that are dimorphic in nature, fungal infection that can exhibit an immune systemic response. You know, those that we have skin testing. Diba? We have your lastomycin antigen skin test. You have your paracoccidioidin. You have your coccidioidin, and you have your histoplasmin skin test. So it occurs in immunocompromised patients, Cryptococcus and aspergillosis for the opportunistic. So now let's proceed to the classification of fungi. So again, based on chemical structures, we have different
classification of fungi. So again, or antifungal drugs. So first, based on chemical structure, we have your proline, macrolides, you have your imidazoles, fluorinated pyrimidines, your benzofurans and iodides. You also have your, based on the site of action, you have your systemic or topical antifungal drugs. Remember, if it's on the cutaneous side of infection, you give your topical antifungal, those ointments. If it's on the systemic, you have your systems that are infected, you give your intravenous or your oral antifungal drugs. You have your miscellaneous classification, organic acids and their salts and their inorganic salts. For drugs for mucocutaneous infection, you have your systemic drugs. We have your azoles, no? Fluconazole, itraconazole, voriconazole, and disipulvin and terbinafine are one of your systemic drugs, meaning we give these drugs as an oral drug or intravenous drug. So we expect that this patient contains a systemic infection. So example is you have your pulmonary infection, you have your UTI, cause of your candidiasis. We give fluconazole, or it's either oral or IV. Next, we have your topical drugs. For most of your topical drugs, we have your ketoconazole, miconazole, clotrimazole, and your thioconazole. Again, your fluconazole is your systemic, but you have your topical antifungal drugs, and most commonly is your ketoconazole and clotrimazole that are being used. No, usually it's anong paa. You have your tinea pedis. We give clotrimazole and your ketoconazole ointment for those patients. You have nystatin if you have fungal infection, autofungal infection in the ears. We give your nystatin. Usually, we combine it with other antifungal. We have your tobramycin, no, for otic or your automycotic infection. If there's an infection of fungal infection or in the ears or in the eyes, we give your nystatin together with your tobramycin if it's in the eyes, and steroid to contain infection, both fungal and bacterial infection, and the inflammation of your ears or on your eyes. We also use your terbinafine, but rarely used. Other drugs that can be used as your topical drugs, you have your tolnaftate, your cyclopirox. Cyclopirox is a new kind of drug that can be used as a topical agent for the growth of fungi along the body of a human being. You have your naftifine, Whitfield ointment, Gentian violet, Castellani paint, and tincture iodine. So drugs for systemic infection again, fluconazole, itra, borico, and ampli, and your flucytosine and your caspofungin. And aside from that, we can also classify different antifungal drug according to their mechanism of action. Now, this one is very important. This slide, this one I usually ask this in the exam. So this, aside from where the drug acts, no, if it's either topical or if it's either your systemic, which is an oral or an IV form of drug site action, we can also classify this antifungal drug according to the mechanism of action. So you have your fungal cell wall synthesis, you have your caspofungin for that, you have those drugs that bind to fungal cell membrane, ergosterol, to prevent the sterol formation. You have your amphotericin B and your nystatin. You also have your inhibition of your ergosterol plus your lanosterol synthesis. You have your terbanifine, naftifine, and botenafine. You also have those drugs that inhibits your ergosterol synthesis, which is example of your azole. Then you also have your drugs or antifungal drugs that inhibits nucleic acid synthesis, which is your 5-fluoxetine. And in a medical setting, your 5-fluoxetine are usually combined with your AMP-B. So you have your inhibition of your nucleic acid and inhibition of your fungal cell membrane ergosterol. Usually they combined for the treatment of such your opportunistic and systemic infection. You also have your disruption of the mitotic spindle and inhibition of your fungal mitosis during your sexual phase of the reproduction of a fungal agent. Now you use your glycofulvin, and you have your miscellaneous new antifungal drugs, which are your cyclopirox, your tolnafate, your haloperidol, anticyclinic acid, and your topical acids. But usually these drugs, they are less commonly used in the hospital. Usually, if we say the cyclopirox, usually much expensive. So what we do or we give to the patient are those readily available and much cheaper to the patients. So again, we have your different site of action for your antifungal drug. So you have your risofulbin again a while ago for your mitotic spindle. You have your flocytosine for the DNA or nucleic acid synthesis. You have your plasma membrane, which are polyenes. Example of that is your amphotericin B. You have your cell wall, which are your echinocandins and your endoplasmic reticulum or urocyte that inhibits your ergosterol synthesis, which are your imidazole or your azoles. Next. Again, antibiotics, you have your polyen. Example of your polyen is your amphotericin, nystatin, and hamycin. You can also have your tobramycin if the infection of the fungus is from the ears or eyes. You have your combination of your antifungal and antibiotic. You have antimetabolites, which is your plocytosine, antimetabolite, nucleic acid inhibitors. You have your azoles. You have your imidazole and your triazole. Depends on the composition of their structure, but same, they are considered as azole. You have your aliamines, terbinafine, your luteifine, your echinocandins, your caspofungin, andolafungin, and your micafungin, and other topical agents. But again, this is based on the structure of the drugs. What is more important is the classification of antifungal drugs based on their mechanism of action. So again, it's for the chemistry. So again, first we have your azoles. Again, we have types of azole according to the structure. We have your imizole and triazole, or imiazole or your triazole. Now, if we say azole, these are synthetic antifungal. They are very broad. No, they are classification of antifungal drugs with a very broad spectrum. They are most commonly used, especially if it's topical agent antifungal. Aside from that, it is classified again according to your imidazole versus triazole. Again, this antifungal drugs has a very broad spectrum of activity, and the mechanism of action of this is they block the synthesis of your ergosterol, which is the primary sterol in the fungal cell wall membrane. So you have your imidazole, 2-nitrogen in structure. You have you can have imidazole that are topical or imidazole that are systemic. You have your ketoconazole, your iconazole, miconazole, and cotrimazole. You have also triazole that contains 3-nitrogen in structure, which can have your topical. I can also have your systemic. No, you have your triconazole, you have your fluconazole, itraconazole, and voriconazole. Now, in my practice, if we have patients that have or diabetic or cancer or HIV patients, and we observe to have most of these patients usually they have your oral thrush or oral candidiasis. No, use the most commonly azole that we give to patient is fluconazole because of mas cheap siya, mas readily available. But again, you can have a lot of choices, to be given, to those patients, that have certain fungal infection. Again, we give the most available, the cheapest, which the patient will will never be having a problem of acquiring such medication due to price, or due to expensiveness of a drug. So again, most commonly given here is your fluconazole, which is a triazole. So pharmacokinetics of the the drug. When we say pharmacokinetics, it's what the effect of drug done to the body. So again, absorption of azole from stomach is affected by food and gastric hydrochloric acid. Your fluconazole can reach your TSF with good concentration. So we give also your fluconazole as IV drugs. So whenever there's a candidiasis and it may infect your meninges, you'll have meningitis, fungal meningitis. So we can give fluconazole. Why? Because again, it can reach your CSF. It can go past your blood-brain barrier and have an effect to your fungal infection disseminated into your CNS. It is excreted in the urine, mostly unchanged. Mechanism of action of your azole, again, it inhibits your fungal cytochrome P40. Again, it inhibits your fungal cytochrome P40. And what's this fungal cytochrome P40? So this cytochrome P40 is a detoxifying natural and environmental contaminants, no, that the fungal or the fungi requires in order for their survival. So the real function of this, it catalyzes an oxidative transformation, no, of a wide range of organic substances within the fungal structure. So we have an antifungal that attacks this cytochrome P40. So necessary for ergosterol synthesis, which is a major component of your fungal cell wall membrane. So again, it will alter the permeability when it breaks the cell membrane. It can disrupt the function of that fungi or that fungal organism and can cause, no, even fungal organisms death. So they are very broad spectrum. They are fungistatic against many dermatophytes and your candida. Again, fungistatic, they prevent the growth of your fungi. Again, one of action of azole, again, it uh, it inhibits the formation of your ergosterol through, no, disruption of the enzyme or inhibiting the formation of the enzyme that synthesizes your sterol into your sterol 14 alpha demethylase. Again, if there's a cessation of that enzyme, it will lead to the decrease of the accumulation of this demethylase or sterol 14 alpha methylase or demethylase, and it will arrest, no, the fungal growth in the body. So it will cause cessation of the growth of your fungi, especially dermatophytes and your candida. So the therapeutic uses, if it's for the superficial fungal infection, we use ketoconazole, itraconazole, and miconazole. So dermatophyte infection of the skin, we give it for the skin infection, we give it 2 to 4 weeks ideally. For hair infection, treatment continued 6 to 8 weeks. For nail infection, treatment continued for 3 to 6 months. But again, as I told you before, if it's nail infection, might as well we remove, no, the nail bed. We do oncectomy rather than treating the patient for 3 to 6 months. It can also be used, no, for mucocutaneous candidiasis, no, oropharyngeal, vulvovaginal, etc. If it's vulvovaginal, of course, we cannot give their oral. So usually we give your systemic, no, the IV route of your azole. Can also be used for your systemic. You can use your etraconazole, fluconazole, and voriconazole. So your etraconazole, orally or IV, is the drug of choice for your systemic blastomycosis, the one that causes your North American blastomycosis. Fluconazole, orally or IV, is the drug of choice for systemic candidiasis. Again, sinabi ko na, if the HIV patient, cancer patient that contains your oral thrush, we usually give your fluconazole and cryptococcal meningitis. Again, because it can reach your BBB and can reach your CSF, no? Stabilizing or inhibiting the growth of that fungi there. You can also have your voriconazole, which is the drug of choice for invasive aspergillosis of the lung. Again, voriconazole, the drug of choice for the invasive aspergillosis of your lungs. No? The fungus ball or the cannonball formation in the lung. You can use your voriconazole as a drug of choice for that. Adverse effect for your azole, again, hepatotoxic, or it will cause transaminases, or transaminitis per se. So again, it is hepatotoxic. It can cause transaminitis, meaning it can cause elevation of your SGPT and SGOT. It can cause a failure of your liver if given, no, in excessive amount and prolonged duration. As those inhibit your hepatic CP450 enzymes. Again, this one is a type of antioxidant. Again, they inhibit this type of enzyme in the liver. The reason why people give or do, no, your glutathione is because it enhances also your CP40 enzymes. So nagpapaputi, aside from whitening agent, it is used for liver nutrition. So it regenerates antioxidants found on the liver, especially your CYP 450. It can cause anti-androgenic effect, so meaning if it can give a it can decrease or lessen the masculine characteristics of a person. So if it decreases the masculine characteristics of a person, it will increases his feminine features. So if you're a male patient and you use this for long, it can cause your gynecomastia, lalaki ka but you have a bigger breast, can have impotence due to gonadal steroid synthesis. Your voriconazole causes transient visual disturbance. Again, voriconazole can cause transient visual disturbances. This is just the side effects. If we use these type of antifungal drugs in excessive and prolonged duration. So again, next you have your amphotericin B. Again, you have your amphotericin B as one of your antifungal drugs. So this one is the one that we give in those fungi that are systemic mycosis. We give usually your AMP-B, and in opportunistic mycosis, usually we give your amphotericin B. So again, obtained from species Streptomyces nodosus, amphoteric in nature. So it has two sides, your labile and your phyllic. Again, it will exert its antifungal effect by the disruption of your fungal cell wall synthesis. Kanina, you have your azole, which disrupts your ergosterol synthesis. For your amphotericin B, again, it disrupts your fungal cell wall synthesis. Again, pharmacokinetics, how this drug acts the body. Again, it's a polar compound that cannot be absorbed from the GI tract or cross the CSF. So if in cases of your meningitis, you usually don't give your amphotericin B. Insoluble in water, so colloidal suspension prepared with sodium deoxycholate. 90% bound to plasma protein, so it should be administered IV or intrathecal. Half-life is 15 days. Usually 15 days it is removed in the body, or its action is diminished after 15 days. Dialysis is ineffective in case of toxicity. Again, this one is nephrotoxic. We have your azole as hepatotoxic, but your amphotericin B is nephrotoxic. So whenever we have your amphotericin B toxicity or nephrotoxicity, usually dialysis can't reverse back the toxicity of the kidney. It might lead to your renal failure. But what we do if we have your AMP-B nephrotoxicity or nephrotoxic, usually dilute the patient's blood in order to save the kidney's function. But again, if it given in excessive or prolonged time, it can lead to renal failure. That's why kahit anong drugs naman or anong food, if we will take this specific type of drugs or food in a prolonged or excessive amount, it can cause a massive impact in our system. So because of the significant toxicity, amphotericin B is available in liposomal form, in which the drug can enclose in lipid microsphere liposomes. So what they did is that you have your amphotericin B enclosed with a lipid material, in which the liver can detoxify the drug easily. So these lipids microspheres bind preferentially to ergosterol in the fungal cell membrane with lower affinity to mammalian cell membrane. So amphotericin B is a polyene macrolide that binds to ergosterol of the fungal cell wall membrane and form pores. So if your azole breaks the membrane by decreasing the enzyme that is very important for the synthesis of your ergosterol, your amphotericin B creates spores, which alters membrane stability and allows leakage of cellular contents. Again, therapeutic uses, amphotericin B is the broadest spectrum of activity. So again, if you have a certain fungal infection, devoid of CNS involvement, you can give your amphotericin B. Why? Again, this one contains a broad spectrum of activity. Meaning, even though you are not certain of you are not certain of the specific fungal agent, usually we give your AMP-B to allow us to cover for all your specific groups or classification of fungal agents. Again, it treats severe systemic fungal infection, including those caused by Candida albicans, Histoplasma capsulatum, your systemic and your opportunistic mycosis. But again, except if may involvement na ng CNS, because again, it cannot reach your CSF. So, adverse effect, acute reaction, chills, fever, some of the normal effect of your antifungal. Long-term toxicity, again, nephrotoxic, can have your azotemia, decreased renal function. You have your hypokalemia, decreased potassium, can have your acidosis, decreased glomerular filtration rate, and your anemia. CNS toxicity can also cause CNS toxicity. Again, it cannot be reversed back by your dialysis. So once it accumulates in the body, it can cause CNS toxicity. Again, headache, vomiting, and nerve palsies. Again, rarely hepatotoxic, more on nephrotoxic. C, amphotericin B. Again, this one is a polyione. Third, you have your flucytosine. This one is your antimetabolite. This one is your inhibition of the nucleic acid synthesis. So when you say flucytosine, a prodrug, pyrimidine analog, antimetabolite. So usually it is converted to your 5-fluorouracil. Human cells can convert it to your 5-FU. That's why we have your flucytosine. Again, flucytosine is actively transported into the fungal cell and it's converted to your uracil form, your 5-fluorouracil in the fungal cell wall. Again, human body cannot create your 5-FU. So it is being converted in the fungal cell wall, which inhibits your nucleic acid synthesis. Human cells lack the ability to convert large amount of flucytosine into FU. So that's why it should be transmitted, and the drug residue should be transported fast enough that it will reach your fungal cell wall in order for the flucytosine to be converted into its functioning form, which is your 5-FU, in order for you to inhibit the synthesis of your nucleic acid. So again, uses in combination with other antifungal agent. Usually, it is usually used in combination with your amphotericin B. So if you can remember your systemic mycosis and your opportunistic, usually aside from your amphotericin B, or aside from giving your AMP-B as the treatment of choice, we add your 5-fluorocytosine, and the other treatment is your azole. So again, it is used in combination with other antifungal agents, especially your amphotericin B. Adverse effect of your flucytosine, again, generally it is non-toxic. Depression of bone marrow at high doses and hair loss, or your alopecia, is one of the most common cause or most common adverse effect of your flucytosine. But other than that, usually it is a very, very safe type of drugs or antifungal drug. Next, you have your grisufulvin, again, antimetabolite. Oral administration, it have irregular absorption, increased by fatty food and microfine particles. It gets concentrated in keratinized tissue, metabolized in the liver, and is heated in the urine. Half-life is 24 hours. Mechanism action of your grisufulvin, again, it binds to your microtubule. This one is in the spindle, microtubule spindle. So it prevents spindle formation and mitosis in fungi. Usually, it arrests the sexual phase of the fungal agent. So it is fungistatic and requires long duration of therapy. The drug binds to keratin structures and accumulates in skin, hair, and nails. This one summarizes your antifungal drugs. Again, you have your azole, you have your amphotericin B, which is your polyione. You have your flucytosine, which is your antimetabolites. You have your spindle, which is ataxia spindle or mitotic spindle, which is your grisufulvin. So again, therapeutic uses of your grisufulvin, usually for long-term therapy of dermatophyte infection of the hair and nails. Remember, it accumulates in the hair and nails. Adverse effect, this one is hepatotoxic, same as your azoles. It can cause hypersensitivity reaction, rashes of the skin, and it can also have CNS effect like your amphotericin B. It can cause confusion, fatigue, and vertigo. Next, you also have your nystatin. This one is a polyiamine macrolide, very similar in kinetics with your amphotericin B. Both they are both polyiamine. So it is too toxic for parenteral administration. So it is used only topical. Again, we don't have an oral or IV form of your nystatin. So again, sinabi ko kanina, your nystatin are combined with your tobramycin, antibiotic. They are usually used in the otic or your ear, mycotic infection or eyes. So usually wala namang oral for the ears. Usually it's otic drops, or for the eyes it's you have the eye drops. So again, it's mostly this one is generally used for topical lang. You don't give it orally or you don't give a IV form of this drug. Again, it is active mainly against candida and is used topically for oropharyngeal and vaginal candidiasis. It is, we have also your caspofungin. No, caspofungin. This one is a large cyclic peptide that disrupts the fungal cell wall, resulting in cell death. Again, caspofungin. Used by intravenous route for therapy in cases of your severe invasive aspergillosis and your amphotericin B. The reason is because it has the widest or the broadest spectrum of the antifungal. Now, if it failed, it can use your caspofungin. And if you use your caspofungin, usually the infection in patient are much severe. So ang iniisip mo, hindi lang siya your mild symptoms, no? Usually severe symptoms that are not treated with the usual antifungal. Usually we give your caspofungin. But again, if gumaling naman for your AMP-B, you don't have to think of your caspofungin. But again, it's good to know it will disrupt the cell wall and can cause arrest or death, of the fungal cell. So again, you have your ergosterol synthesis, which is your azoles. You have your ergosterol, polyenes. You have your nucleic acid, which is your flucytosine, that attacks your flucytosine. You can also have your uh, your mitotic spindle that attacks your mitotic spindle, your bisulfulvin. So there's a lot of antifungal drugs you can use. Next, this one are miscellaneous drugs na. Cyclopirox. Cyclopirox is a broad spectrum antifungal effective against dermatophytes and yeast. So for this one, mechanism is unclear. Because this drug is usually a new discovery. So some may say that it has a high affinity for your trivalent metal cations, which inhibit essential cofactor in enzymes, and some says that it inhibits some of essential enzymes that are responsible or very essential in the structure of the fungal cell wall. But again, wala pang study for the real or for the specific function of this antifungal. But again, it for now it inhibits essential cofactors in enzymes, and it can impairs the membrane integrity of your fungal cell wall at high concentration of this drug. So again, it used topically for skin and nail infection. You can also use terbanifine. Terbanifine, this one is by inhibiting your squalene epoxidase. So your squalene epoxidase is also an essential substances na used for the formation of your ergosterol in the cell wall of the fungi. Now this one, it blocks the biosynthesis of your ergosterol, which is an essential component of the fungal cell wall. It accumulation of toxic amounts of squalene results in increased membrane permeability and death of the fungal cell. the drug of choice for treating dermatophyte onychomycosis. Again, this is the drug of choice for your Tinea ongium. Again, the drug of choice for your Tinea ongium, aside from your glycofulvin. No? Glycofulvin can be also used for your nail infection, but this one is the drug of choice, no, for the nail infection, especially those nail infection caused by dermatophyte, terbanifine or terbanifin. Better tolerated, requires a shorter duration of therapy, and it's more effective than either itraconazole and your glycofulvin. And that's the last slide. So, if no question or no reaction, we will have the quiz next week during our class. But for the next week, kasi I'm not sure pa if I'll be able to meet you personally since I have a graduation to attend to. No, I'll be having my graduation for my diplomate. But if I can attend face-to-face class, I will do and give the quiz and have the discussion for the introduction to virology. We will have the Greek consultation next week if I can attend the class face-to-face. And for those individuals that are planning to have the Hep B vaccination in my service, you have to list your name sa class representative because I need to know the number of those students I am going to vaccinate. Kasi Hep B vaccine is nagkakaubusan nowadays. Kaya medyo mahal siya somehow to some other hospital. Sobrang mahal siya because nagkakaubusan ng vaccine. So I need to know the number of students in your section so that I know how many vials I need to reserve. Medyo pricey kasi. So if no question, we'll have the grid consultation next week na lang. Thank you so much for your time and have the rest of the day. Thank you.